From the moment you walk into the showroom floor at Trapp Cadillac, you understand our commitment to providing a truly exceptional experience for all returning and new customers.
Our goal is to make sure you're always comfortable while understanding the entire process of getting into your new Trapp Cadillac.
When you drive a Trapp Cadillac, you know performance, bold styling, and our sure commitment to service.
One thing you can always count on here at Trapp Cadillac is our excellent service experience.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And you know, whenever we want to get that most, fastest, best information out of Lafourche Parish, we go to one source and one source only, and that is Captain Brennan Matherne with the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office. Cap, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Keith.
I appreciate it. You know, we all had to kind of weather the storm here, but when we weather a storm very often, we've got to make sure that we're taking care of our own, protecting ourselves. You guys in Lafourche Parish always think ahead about how to do that. Let's talk a little bit about what y'all have been able to do and having to be able to prevent people from contractor fraud issues.
Well, we certainly had a lot of practice, unfortunately, Keith, but yeah, I mean, going back to Hurricane Ida, we launched an initiative called our Contractor Fraud Response Team, and it's a cooperative endeavor between the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office, as well as Lafourche Parish government. And it provided two things. One, it provided citizens with a way to ensure they protect themselves from scams, from con artists, and really a way to make sure that they are able to verify contractors. And on our end, it provided us an easier way to investigate as well as eventually prosecute contractor fraud cases. So what all this means for citizens is for Lafourche Parish residents, the idea behind this team is to, in other words, to get a situation where we can know that you have some confidence when you're hiring a contractor. We already know, and every citizen should know, that any state contractor must have proper license and insurance and everything. And you can check that contractor, that state license on the state website. However, what if it's a smaller job? What if it's a $2,000 job, a $5,000 job? If the job is under $7,500, any contractor doing work under that amount, well, they don't need a state license. So how do you know that they're legit? Well, obviously, we want you to contact us, contact Lafourche Parish government to find out, but we're taking that proactive step, as you mentioned, Keith, by in working with parish government. President Chasson is requiring any contractor doing work in Lafourche Parish, regardless of the amount, you have to have a parish occupational license. Now, this is different from normal times. Normally, you would just have to have a parish occupational license for any parish, not necessarily Lafourche, to do business here. But if you're a contractor wanting to work after a hurricane, you have to have a Lafourche Parish occupational license. What this does is parish government can then go through that vetting process. And so we're telling people, make sure that someone has a Lafourche Parish occupational license before allowing them to do work. That way, you know that they're legitimate. You know they've gone through the vetting process. Otherwise, again, you can check that state website. It's lslbc.gov. That is the state contracting board website to essentially double check on the contractor. You also want to ask for references and things like that. And there's plenty of signs to look for, Keith, as far as potential scam artists. Obviously, you have to be wary of door-to-door solicitations, but plenty of normal contractors do use that as a possible motivation. Any demands for cash, especially large down payments, that is going to be a red flag. High pressure sales tactics, anything like that is definitely going to be something to be concerned about.
Yeah, and again, you guys have made it very clear. What it's going to do is it's going to prevent those people from maybe scamming somebody else. Right. And so just let them know, I'm going to check this out. And thank God, our Lafourche Parish makes sure that we do this through the parish. So all of this has to go through them. We want the public to know that. So let's put those numbers up so we can let people know how to go about doing that. Let's share that contractor fraud hotline with them.
So obviously, if you're a victim of contractor fraud or any crime, you can always call the sheriff's office and report the crime. But specifically for contractor fraud, we want to get these cases expedited. So this is actually a cell phone number that goes straight to detectives who specialize in contractor fraud investigations. If for whatever reason the call is not answered, just understand that it is a cell phone. Please leave a voicemail and we will contact you. It could be that they're just on the line with someone already. If you prefer, you can also email so that they can call you at their convenience, contractorfraud@lpso.net. So there's the number on the screen. It's 985-413-4498. You can take a picture of the screen right now to make sure you get that number down, or just email us at contractorfraud@lpso.net. Again, this gives you a direct line to detectives who specialize in contractor fraud investigations so that they can immediately begin that investigation. And don't wait. If you think you're a victim, call us immediately so we can get the case started.
Yeah, and again, we want to stop these things before they happen. And so if any of these red flags go off, as Captain Brennan mentioned earlier, make sure that you're making sure that you let them know, no, I'm not giving you any money up front. And we have to get everything, it's got to be a permit. Everything's got to go through Lafourche Parish. So I have to do that anyway. And so we want to deter these people from scamming you or somebody else. But again, make sure that they know, proceed with caution, and make sure that you know that we're going to hold them accountable and that Lafourche Parish is doing everything they can to protect you.
Absolutely. And maybe lastly, we just want to remind residents not to let the contractors work with your insurance company. That is another big red flag. It happens. It definitely happens in legitimate cases. But what you could end up with is a situation where the contractor is overcharging or putting overestimates down. The money's coming into them, and then you're getting substandard work and they're pocketing the rest of the cash. Again, these are all shady practices, and we want to make sure and protect citizens no matter what.
Yeah, and again, let's put that number up one more time, Jason. I love the idea that we have this, again, Lafourche Parish and the making sure that they're with the sheriff's office and working with the DA's office and with parish government, making sure that we're protecting people. Contractor fraud hotline there, 985-413-4498. Or again, as Brennan mentioned, you can send an email to contractorfraud@lpso.net. And so we're very glad to have made it through another one, Brennan, and now we want to make sure we're protecting the citizens from having any heartache from getting work done. We appreciate your time as always.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. A whole lot more Bayou time. We continue.
Segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.